Hello everyone, my name is Kashish and I'm here to present my midterm evaluation. So, first I will start with explaining basically the breadth of concepts that we have learned till now. So, basically, the whole web is just three layers: what the user sees, what the server does behind the scene, and what the data is stored. So, basically, it has front end, it has back end and database, and we have web architecture. So okay, first I will start with front end. Basically, HTML is literally just the structure of your page. You're telling the browser this is the heading, this is the link, and this is the paragraph. You're literally telling that how a user should be able to see the page, where should be the links, where should be the forms and all. HTML alone is very ugly. So, therefore, for styling, we have CSS. For CSS comes into picture for styling. CSS is what makes everything look good. You add color, change fonts, control spacing, set up the layout. There's also a thing called box model. Basically, every element on the page is a box and it has margin, border, padding, and the actual content is inside it. We also used flexbox. It makes aligning things in rows and columns very easy. We also have learned about selectors, like which element you choose to style your elements. You can also use class id or tag name, anything, to style the selectors. uh Sorry, tag id, class name are all the selectors. We also learned about CSS conflicts, like what happens when two rules try to style the same thing and specificity decides which one wins. So basically, styling for CSS styling is CSS is basically for styling. Then comes Bootstrap. Okay, basically, Bootstrap is CSS, but we someone has already written its code for us. So we just have to call that library, and we just need to write. We just need to write what we need, like such as we need a card or we need a paragraph with such and such things. We just need to call it from here. We also have documentation for it. We can refer it and we just can easily call. We can also make forms in just 2 seconds by just copy pasting it from Bootstrap. So it has 12 column grid systems. You can make responsive layouts without much efforts, and it comes with predefined components like navbars, cards, button. You just add class name and it works. Now we will learn about JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is HTML, CSS are basically very static. So we cannot, the user cannot interact with it. Like, it's not very interactive. So JavaScript comes into picture for this thing, for interactivity. So so basically it has DOM manipulation, which means you can actually change elements on the page using code, like adding a new item to a list without refreshing. It also has event handling, like how you respond to user actions, like when someone clicks a button or submits a form. Then we have arrow function, let and cons, template literals, and destructuring in JavaScript. Then we have closure modules, which split your code into separate files. So it's not a one giant mess. Like, we have oops. We have learned the concept of object oriented programming, where we have different modules. In here also we have modules, and we have fetch API. That's how we make the HTTP request from the browser and get the data from the server. Also, there is async and await, which makes the whole process cleaner instead of dealing with a bunch of then chains. Now we will learn what is React. React builds on top of JavaScript and it totally changes how you think about building the front end. Okay. Instead of building one big page, you build small reusable components, a navbar component, a card component, a search bar component. JSX is where you write HTML directly inside your JavaScript. Okay, so we write the HTML inside a JavaScript file instead of making a new HTML file. State is data inside your component that can change, and when it changes, React automatically re-renders that component. Props are how you pass data from a parent component to a child. We also use hooks like use state to manage the state or use effect for things like fetching data when a component loads. And the virtual DOM is how React stays fast. Instead of updating the whole page, it figures out what actually changed and only updates that part. So basically HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Bootstrap, this all are part of a front end and it is based on the client side. What client will be able to see and do. Then we have HTTP. This is HTTP. HTTP is how front end and back end talk to each other. Okay, so browser sends a request. Browser here sends a request to the back end, and the server responses back to the front end, and then the client will able to see the requested information. There are four main types. We have get, which means give me data. Post means here's new data to save. Put means update this, and delete means remove this. Every single time you load a page or submit a form, an HTTP request is happening behind the scene. Always a request is made to it will go here and a response will be made. Browser sends request, the server responds. There are get, post, put and delete. HTTP request can be get, post, put and delete. Now we have a fetch. Fetch arrow from here from React to Express. Now with React, we use fetch to call our Express API endpoints directly and get the JSON back. Okay, when we are using React, we use fetch calls, go to the Express.js and we get a response back to the front end. It happens with React only. Now we will learn more about backend, which is the server side, what happens behind the scene. Now we start with Node.js. Node is basically similar to JavaScript, just it's running on the server instead of the browser. Okay, it is also JavaScript which is running behind the scene. So such as if npm is a package manager, so we would need a library. We just need to install npm and we will be easy to use it. Also there are event loops in Node which handles lots of requests at the same time without getting like frozen up. Okay, now we will go to Express. What is Express.js? The Express sits on top of Node and makes building a server way easier. The main thing Express does is routing. The main purpose of Express is basically routing. You define what should happen when someone hits a specific URL. Like if someone presses like if the URL is like app.get apartment, so it will fetch all the apartments from it. And if it is app.post apartments, Then we want to add some apartments to it, because we use a post, and before, earlier we used get method. Okay, so basically express handles what method are we sending. Okay, it is get method, or what we want to fetch from it. Okay, then we also have something called middleware that runs before a route handler like express.json, which reads the incoming JSON data. The request object has all the info about what the user sent, the URL, the body, the parameters. The the response object is the rest object is what you use to send back stuff. Usually it's JSON data with a status code. Basically we send back, basically express sends back JSON data with a status code. Okay, and we also have rest. Rest is just a pattern for organizing your routes. Get to read, post to create, put to update, and delete to remove. Now we also have forms. Forms are basically the bridge between the user and the server, because through forms we can fetch the input from the user and send that user input to the server when the user submits it. And when the user submits it fires an HTTP or post request to the express route. The action contribute on the form tells it which URL to send data to. Method is either get or post. There are also form validations, which is checking if the data is actually correct before saving it. And no, there is also body parser or express.json is what lets express read the form data that comes in. So this is all about server side, which is Node.js, Express.js, and forms. Now we will talk about more about database, which stores the information. So without a database, every time our server restart, all our data would be gone. So MongoDB saves the data permanently. It is a NoSQL database, which means instead of strict tables with rows and columns like SQL, it stores flexible documents that looks like JSON. It is a collection like a folder, and each document inside it is like a file. Like a document, like this. Like you can see, this is the ID, title, price, and rooms. It has an ID, which can be auto generated, title, that is apartment, price, and this is basically a JSON object. Now this is a Mongo driver. This is Mongo driver. We use MongoDB Node.js driver to connect Express to the database. The flow is easy, like you connect to the Mongo server, pick a database, pick a collection, and then run queries. Insert one is create a new document, find to read, update one to update, and delete one to delete. The for operation create, read, update, delete. We can do anything with our data. Now we also have learned about web architecture. What is basically a web architecture? Client server is just the browser talking to the server over HTTP. MVC stands for Model View Controller. It's a way to separate your data, our front end, and our logic. Then REST. REST is a convention we follow when designing API endpoints. And there is SSR and VSR. SSR, whether the server builds the HTML or the browser builds it with JavaScript. Okay, now we will trace how this whole cycle works. First React, then it sends the HTTP request. Express sends to MongoDB. MongoDB sends to Now I will guide you how the full request response cycle works. Like the user clicks something or types a URL, then the request is sent to HTTP request is sent. Then the express matches it to the route. Then the Mongo driver queries the database. Data comes back. Data comes back at JSON. Browser then renders it on the screen. This is how the full cycle works. Every website does this exact same thing. So this is everything about how the web architecture, how the front end works, or how the back end is done, how the database work. This is the whole clear picture. Okay, so for the deep dive topic, I have chosen MongoDB. So basically, MongoDB is where our application's data live permanently. Without it, every time we restart the server, all the data is gone. So what's the basic difference between SQL and MongoDB? So most people have heard of SQL databases, which has tables, rows, column, everything is rigid and structures. MongoDB is very different. It's a NoSQL database. Instead of tables, we have collections. Instead of rows, we have documents. And a document is just a JSON object. So here, how it looks like. This is a document. It has keys. This ID, title, price are the keys, and this are the values. ID is auto-generated by MongoDB. Every document gets a unique one. The biggest advantage over SQL is flexibility. Documents in same collection don't need to have the same fields. Like in SQL, like if one apartment wants to have a parking field and another does not, then we can not include it. It's totally fine. But in SQL, we would have to add that column to the entire table, even if most rows don't need it. So MongoDB is very easy to work with. So in basically with the data, we can do 4 main operations, that is create, in read, update and delete, which is basically the CRUD operation, what we call it CRUD. Every application that we have ever used, like Instagram, Facebook, Amazon, and among many others, run on CRUD. So this is, let me show you how to create some values. So insert one, here I have used insert one method. Insert one adds a single document to the collection. Insert many method, here insert many method takes an array. It is taking an array and adds them all. This is what we do when we need to add so many data all at once. And MongoDB auto generates the ID for us. Now we will see the read operation. The read has 4 methods such as find one, sort and limit. Okay, the find is the one which returns all the values from the document that matches our filter. We will have some filter here. It will find it will find the documents according to our filter, and we call the .toArray method at the end to get the results as an array. If we don't pass anything to find, if we leave it like this, then it returns everything in the collection. And the filter here, this is the filter, which is just basically a JSON object, which means here it means rooms should be $GT2. GT basically means greater than or equal to. MongoDB query has operators like $GT, which means greater than or equal to, less than, that is less than, LT, which is less than, then $any, which is not equal. And then we also have find one method. Basically, it is when you only want one result. Like we like looking up a specific apartment by its title or ID. We just want one. Find one apartment. Okay, now we also have sort method. Okay, which will sort ascending or ascending all the documents, or we can use -1 for descending. Okay, in ascending it will be smallest to largest, and in decreasing it will be from largest to smallest. So this is ascending. Then we also have a limit function. In limit, it caps the result, that is it is useful for pagination features. Like if we want to limit, like just we need top 5, limit 5 means we just want top 5 results, so we will only get the top 5 results from this. Now we also have next operation is update. In update 1 takes two things: a filter to the document and the changes to make. Okay, the set is here. This $set is the key part. It tells MongoDB only change the specific fields and leave everything as it is. So if some apartment has room, neighborhood, etc., those stay untouched. And if we don't include this set, $set, we would replace the entire document with just price and available. So it is very important to have the set and available field in it. There's also update many. If you want to change multiple documents at once, like marking all apartments under 1000 as budget, it will update multiple fields at once. Then on the next operation is delete. The delete one removes the first document that matches our filter, and delete many removes all matching documents. We want to be careful with that one because there's no undo. If we do this, we cannot undo this thing. Okay, so we have to use this very carefully because all the records will be deleted. Then so basically each CRUD operation maps to an express route. Like get is to get to find, post to insert one, put to update one, delete to delete one. Okay, so get routes find. Someone wants to gets routes to find, like someone wants to see apartment, we read from the database and sends the JSON back. Then post to insert one, post route calls insert one. Someone submits a form, we take the request body and save it. Put routes update one. Someone edits an apartment, we find it by ID and update the fields. Then delete route calls delete one. Someone removes an apartment, we find it by ID and delete it. And on the front end, we have React and Vanilla JS calls this routes using fetch. We use user action, HTTP request, express route, MongoDB operation, and response back. So here we can see this get reads all the apartments. So app.get, it will use find to read all the apartment. Then post, it will create a new apartment with insert one. Then we have put, which will update an apartment by ID. So it has update one and with ID. And then we have delete, which will app.delete with delete one. So now I will quickly go through what is there in MongoDB. So MongoDB stores data as flexible JSON documents. There are no rigid tables like SQL. Collections hold documents and databases hold collections. CRUD is everything like insert one, find, update one, delete one. Each CRUD operation maps to an express route: get, post, put, delete. The front end call those routes with fetch, and that's the full cycle. And that's how MongoDB basically works and the whole operation. So thank you. Hi. So for now live coding, I'm building a task tracker where which in which you can add a task, delete a task, and update it by checking that this task has been finished. So in this, I have an Express server ready. It has 4 API routes, that is get returns all the task, post adds a task, and put marks the task which that this is done, and delete which removes a task. And I also have an index.html file, and I have pre-built code for HTML CSS, so it looks good. So I will work on JavaScript file for to show, load, and display the task, as well as an event listener. I will be that calling the button, how it will be working. And I already have this mark done and delete already done for me. So now I will work on add how to load and display the tasks. So for this, first I will write async load tasks, and here this const result is await fetch this API, that is tasks, and this. Then we have const tasks, which is await result dot json. Okay, now I have a task list dot inner html, which is empty, and I have count el dot text content, which is tasks dot length, and I have tasks with me. Then I will write task dot for each task. I will be calling this, and here I will do this. Then I have task list dot inner html is appending this thing. We have a div tag, which is class called task. Then I will append a div class. Okay, and then I will also try to close this so it's not that thing. Okay, so now I will, in this I will have a span tag with me, span, which has a class which is task dot done, and it will say if it is done, then it will say done or return empty. Then I will have this, and I'll close this tag, and I will write it here task dot text, and then I will close the span tag here, and then plus this div. And in this div, I don't want to close this div, I want to have something else here. Okay, wait, this is for this. Now I want another div tag. Wait a minute, class is equals to class task done, then it is empty. Then we have this. Okay, now I will have div class is equal which div class is equals to task actions, and then I will close it here and do this. Okay, what I have done here, div class is equals to task, okay, span class. Oh, I forgot to add a plus. Okay, now in here I will write button class is complete button, then on click I will say mark it done, and I will have this plus task dot id, and then this. Okay, and here I will write done or completed. Done. Oh wait, done is better. Okay, now I will copy the same thing, and here I will write plus. Here I will, instead of complete, I will write delete button. Then this will be delete task id, and here I will say delete. Okay, so this is ready. I'll make it better. Okay, now I will write the event listener for it. I hope this is okay. Okay, I forgot to add this here and plus here. Okay, I forgot to add a plus here. Okay, now good, looks good. Now add button dot add event listener, then on click I want async this. Okay, and I will do it like this. Okay, add button dot add event listener. Okay, now const text is input dot value dot trim, then if it is not text, then we will return nothing, then await, we will fetch the everything that we have, that is API tasks, and we will do it here that we want method is post. What is the header? What are the headers for it? Like the content, it has a content type, that is application / JSON, and then I forgot the comma here. Then I have body, which is JSON dot stringify, and I want to stringify the text. Okay, so this is done. Now I will input dot value, which is empty right now, And then wait a minute, and then input.value.trim. Did something wrong. Input.value. Wait. Async. Click. Async this. Const text trim. If text is this, await fetch. Okay, this is done. This is right. Load tasks. Okay, but something is wrong. I don't know. Input the dot value is equals to. Okay, done. Now I will run this code. So on the terminal I will write how to run this code. So I will write node server.js and I'll copy this and paste it here. Here we are. Okay, now what task needs to be done? Sweeping, mopping, cleaning. Okay, if it is done it will swipe it. If I don't want it, it will get deleted and done, and I can add done. So here it is. Thank